Well, that was shitty. At least I caught it. I think my phone overheated. Anyhow. Nothing worse than restarts, man. The restarts are brutal. Sometimes I wonder if the Lord's telling me, don't talk about this yet, it's not time, or maybe I'm being too rough on GMS, I don't know. Father God, bless this message. This is your brother J.D. Nija from Word of Truth with J.D. Nija. Not J.D. Nija, Word of Truth with J.D. Nija. I'm just bringing out the truth, and I'm here as a vessel, as a fallen angel, to do a job, a mission for the Most High, Heavenly Father, Yahweh. Good thing I tried to check out the Nubian princess. She's like, point your camera over here so that you can realize you're not even on. So there was this Judite over here. She was waiting for her man, and she's dressed in like a long flowing dress, and she's got the big afro and the whole bit. It's like, so that was a message to me. Make sure your phone's on, dummy. Let me see if things are going right. Seems to be. I think it just overheated. I don't know if you can see me right. So we were talking about the fallen angels. Now we're going into Shiloh. I started in the last video. And so Shiloh. I brought it up before it cut me off. I think I brought it up. My buddy Matthias Ben 7070, his Rod of Iron channel. He claims to be King David, which is a kind of creepy thing to begin with. It's like, I know it's not any more creepy than me claiming Adonijah, but King David, really? Anyhow, he was saying, you know, he's got his family over there, his congregation, and he was saying in his video that one of his captains, one of his buddies in his congregation, was having a child this month, and they were going to name the child Shiloh, and he said the turn up and all this, the new bodies and things like that. He was claiming that when this kid's born that everything's going to change, and it's like, I was listening to that going, don't sound right. It's almost like he's another biblical cult leader. They went to Missouri or something like that and had what he called a kasas. I don't know what that is. It's a gathering of the people, I guess, in Hebrew, kasas. In the Paleo Hebrew, that Lawang Quadash, kasas. They had a kasas. And supposedly they were calling on the name, and they were gathering. This is the gathering he's talking about. The scepter, this is Judah. The blessing to Judah from Jacob. Jacob's prophecy and blessing. To Judah he said, you art whom the brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thy enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. So he's saying all the tribes will bow to Judah. Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey, my son. Thou art gone up. He stooped down, he crouched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? This is the meat. The scepter, the kingship, the rulership shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver, a judge, from between his feet until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. So he was saying, okay, when Shiloh comes, when this baby comes, we'll have this kasas, this gathering. He's trying to rewrite the story. Dangerous, very dangerous. So back to Shiloh. The lesson is on Shiloh, this word Shiloh. So Judah, these Judites, these wicked Judites at GMS, Sakari, even, I'm wondering now, Matthias. He used to go into a lot about reincarnation, and the women, and how to be righteous and things like that. Now he's he's mixed up in this congregation, and it's interesting from a cult standpoint. You're like, wow, this is how a cult leader does it. And if you go to his videos in the last 2 months, you could catch up real quick on how it's kind of spinning out on him. But anyway, back to Shiloh. So what's it mean by a scepter shall not depart from Judah? That means there's going to be kingship. Judah is going to be watching over the people. They're of the first fruits, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. When it says Judah, it doesn't just mean Judah. It means the whole southern tribe. And so, until Yahushua came back, the people are supposed to be bowing down to Judah. They're supposed to be listening to Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. They are the ones that hold the scepter, and they're the ones that are giving the law. What is a Levite? A Levite is a priest or a judge, or you know what I'm saying. And that's why it says a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Who's him? Who's Shiloh? That's Yahushua. So I was just thinking, this just came to my mind. How close is Shiloh to Yahushua? It's like I don't know. It just sounds funny. Shiloh and Yahushua. But anyhow, Shiloh is Yahushua. So what does this mean, you Judites, you wicked Judites? This means your time's over, dude. Our time to rule is not now. Shiloh has come, and the people are being gathered, and it's time to fucking let the priests do their work. We're supposed to be bringing people in. We're supposed to be gathering the people, not scattering the people, you fuckers, man. Grouping into this little Negro fucking grits and collard greens meal. That's all we can eat. Are you fucking out of your minds? So, I pulled up some scriptures on Shiloh, but there was something I wanted to point out about Shiloh. And it's in Judges. This is a hard lesson because this is a lesson that has to do with me. But, so at the end of Judges, there's this really hardcore civil war. And it starts with the men of Benjamin abusing a concubine. And I've read this story many times. And there's some things that are coming out of the story now that I'm starting to understand. And it has to do with the Gentiles. So I'll just read a little bit. The sodomy of Gibeah. So Benjamites, if you don't know already, there was a time when Benjamin was quite wicked. So this man was traveling through Gibeah on his way to Ephraim, and they came onto Gibeah, the land of Benjamin, and we are passing from Bethlehem, Judah, toward the side of Mount Ephraim. So they're coming from, these people are coming from Ephrata. These were people that you don't mess with, you shouldn't be messing with anybody. Shouldn't be messing with them. And I went to Bethlehem, Judah, but I am now going to the house of the Lord, and there is no man that receiveth me to his house. So this man's traveling through, and he's like, I don't know where to stop, man. These Benjamites are kind of creepy. Yet there is both straw and provender for our asses, and there is bread and wine also for me and for thy handmaid, and for the young man which is with thy servant. There is no want of anything. So this guy was blessed because he was from Bethlehem, Ephrata. And the old man said, Peace be with you. However, let all thy wants be laid upon me, only lodge not in the street. So he brought him into the house and gave him provender under the asses, and they washed their feet and did eat and drink. He's saying, don't go out there, man. Just don't sleep in the street. Now as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men in the city, certain sons of Belial, these wicked Benjamites, beset the house round about and beat the door down, and spoke to the master of the house, the old man, saying, Bring forth the man that came into thine house, that we may know him. And that's how you know in Matthew and Luke, when it's saying, Mary told the angel, How could I get pregnant? I know not a man. I know not a man means I didn't get boned, I didn't get fucked, I didn't get slammed, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, none of it. So when it says here, bring forth the man that came into your house that we may know him, we know that knowing somebody is having sex with them. So fuck you again, GMS, you motherfuckers. Read the Bible, you assholes. Slakia. And the man, the master of the house, went out unto them and said, Brethren, don't do this, I pray you, don't do wickedly, seeing this man is come unto my house, do not this folly. So he's saying, come on, man, this guy's, you don't know who this guy is, in other words. And he said, Behold, here is my daughter, a maiden, and his concubine, them I will bring out to you, and humble yourselves to do with them what seemeth good unto you, but unto this man do not so vile a thing. So this is where we see men of the Lord are to be protected and to be stood up for. And you could give 100 concubines and 100 of your daughters for one man of the Lord. And that's just the way it's supposed to go, right? So the concubine was abused. They ended up killing her. And this man took the body and he cut it up into 12 pieces and sent it to all the tribes. And the tribes decided that they were going to slaughter Benjamin because Benjamin wouldn't repent. It says, Now the children of Benjamin heard that the children of Israel were gone up to Mizpah. Then said the children of Israel, Tell us, how was this wickedness? And the Levite, the husband of the woman that was slain, answered and said, I came into Gibeah that belongeth to Benjamin, I and my concubine to lodge. So this guy from Bethlehem, Ephrata, like I was saying, the people of that area were the priests and the servants. And I came into Gibeah that belongs to Benjamin, I and my concubine to lodge, and the men of Gibeah rose up against me and beset the house round about me by night, and thought to have slain me, and my concubine have they forced that she is dead. So they fucked her to death. And they took my concubine and cut her in pieces. And so I took my concubine and I cut her in pieces and sent her throughout the country and to the inheritance of Israel, for they have committed lewdness and folly in Israel. Behold, you are all children of Israel. Give here your advice and counsel. So now they're in a really tight place, right? So Israel unites against Benjamin. And they went and told them, all the tribes of Israel sent men through all the tribes of Benjamin, saying, what wickedness is this that you've done among you? Now therefore deliver us the men, the children of Belial, which are in Gibeah, that we may put them to death and put away evil from Israel. But the children of Benjamin would not hearken to the voice of their brethren, the children of Israel. So this is a part of where I have to do this for the wickedness of my tribe. This is the least I can do, is come every day and do the best of my ability a message on what this fucking book means. Fucking book. What this it's a fucker, all right. It's a hard book. It's not meant for everyone. And so, that being said, I'll go on about Shiloh. So what happened is, so they prepare for battle against Benjamin. And guess who fights first? Guess what the Lord does? Get this. And the men of Israel, besides Benjamin, were numbered 400,000 men that drew the sword. All these were men of war. And the children of Israel rose up and went to the house of God and asked counsel of God and said, which of us shall go up first to battle against the children of Benjamin? And the Lord said, Judah shall go up first. Yep. So what's he saying right there about this ability of men to rule over themselves? I'm gonna turn this into the most devastating folly ever. And most of it happened because Benjamin was wicked, and then on top of their wickedness, they wouldn't repent. So when I talk about my tribe, it's nothing to be proud of, a lot of it. So what happens is they go up against Benjamin. Of course, this guy's gonna pull up right next to me and start talking. Good work, buddy. It's all right. He's exclusive auto detail. Exclusive. He's exclusive, demons. Now there's some. A third were dragged down, possibly. Exclusive. Now he's pulling away because I rolled up the window. You. I can't make this stuff up. I cannot make this stuff up. Okay, I'm back. So, let me read some of it. I love the story. It's got to be one of the most interesting stories of all wickedness, all kinds of murder, all kinds of whacked evil thought processes, right? And the children of Israel went up and wept before the Lord until evening and asked the counsel of the Lord, saying, shall I go up again in battle against the children of my brother? Because the Benjamites were, not only were they wicked sodomites, they were mean. And that's why you see the meanness come out in me. It's part of my damn spirit. I got somebody talking shit to me yesterday. Big old man, big old grouchy fucker. And I sat on the fire pit there and looked at the waves. I was reading the paper, no one's around, the waves are shitty. And where I sat right there, he had put his towel, and the towel looked kind of beat up. I was like, oh, someone left their towel. So I gingerly picked it up to see if maybe someone had their keys in there or whatever, because I know what surfers do. So I noticed the keys were in there, so I rolled it up and I set it a little bit over, and this fucking angry Edomite comes up, and I see him coming. I'm going, oh boy, here's this guy. And he comes up and he starts, do you know who touched that towel? Hey, who undid that towel? I go, I did. Easy, brother. And he's all, blah, blah, blah. You shouldn't be touching other people's shit. And I go, man, you got one bad attitude. And he started walking away with his towel and stuff. And he said something else. And I said, why don't you shut the fuck up, old man? Because I don't care. He turns around. He starts acting like he's coming back. He says, I'll break you. And I'm like, break me. And he turned around and he goes, fucking Southern California people. And he started walking away. And I said, hey, fucker, if you don't like it, beat it. Get the fuck out of here. You know what? I might not be a very big guy, but I don't let people push me around. And that's that Benjamin. I know the Lord, in the end, the sling and the rock is going to take that fucker down. If he wants to break me, go at it, brother. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So they went up against Benjamin twice, and they got their asses handed to them. And Benjamin went forth against them out of Gibeah the second day, and destroyed down to the ground all the children of Israel. Again, 18,000 men, all that drew the sword. So what's interesting about this story is Israel seeks the Lord one more time, and they said, the children of Israel, this is Judges 20, the end of 20. This is the last story in the book of Judges. All the children of Israel and all the people went up and came into the house of God and wept and sat before the Lord and fasted until day, until even. So it keeps saying until evening. And that's where there was this disconnect. Benjamin brings the spoil back in the evening, and it keeps saying evening, and it's like they're missing some point there with the fact that Benjamin's blessing was to bring back the spoil in the evening. So they knew something about their own tribe, because it kept saying something's going on in evening, right? And the children of Israel inquired of the Lord, for the ark of the covenant of God was there in those days. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, so the priest, stood before it in those days, saying, shall I yet go up again to battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother, or shall I cease? And the Lord said, go up, for tomorrow I will deliver them into your hands. And the children of Israel went up against the children of Benjamin on the third day, and put themselves in array against Gibeah. And it goes into this whole thing where they lit the town on fire. And when they lit the town on fire, the wolves freaked out, because then they're thinking about their children and their wives, and they got in disarray, and the Judah and the other tribes were able to overcome them, and they pretty much slaughtered the whole tribe. So the point I'm getting at with all this whole story is they wouldn't give them wives. They said, we're not giving you any of our wives, because they made a vow, fuck Benjamin, we don't want him. And then they ran off to Rimmon. So when you think of the rock of Rimmon, run to the rock. So they ran to the rock of Rimmon, and the rock of Rimmon at that time was a metaphor or a idealization of the Lord. They ran to the rock of Rimmon, these 70 men or something. And that's where you kind of wonder, these 70 men, who are these 70 men at the end of the Bible that are going to stand for the Lord? There's something there too, but my 60-year-old mind can only put together these things for so long before I start getting dizzy and all this. So I'm going to stick to the story, because it all interconnects, and that's the part that irritates me about GMS and these guys. They break it up into bite-sized pieces that people go, that's all right. Shouldn't be eating that shit. It might taste good, but it's not good for you. And they found among the inhabitants... Okay, so this is where they were... there were men that didn't go up to fight. And it was men of Jabesh Gilead. And these were like a mixed tribal area. It was Ephraim, and it was kind of like one of those, like Long Beach. It has every type, you know. So Jabesh Gilead, there was a bunch of people that didn't go up to fight against Benjamin. And so they figured they would get the virgins from these mixed tribes and give them to Benjamin. It says, and they found among the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead 400 young virgins that had known no man by lying with any male. So, just like Mary said, I haven't known a man. There it is again, GMS, you dumb motherfuckers. Salakia. And they found among them 400 virgins that had known no man, and they brought them into the camp to Shiloh, which is in the land of Canaan. So now Shiloh is a place. Why Shiloh? Because, like it said in Genesis back there, 49:10, we need some kind of order. We need this bullshit to stop. And so when it says Shiloh, that's recognizing that the only way we can bring these people, all these people, back in under the covering of the Most High is through forgiveness, reconciliation, giving, charity, love, togetherness, understanding. Right? And the whole congregation sent some to speak of the children of Benjamin that were in the rock of Rimmon, and to call peaceably unto them. So there you go. That's what I was talking about. The rock of Rimmon, calling peaceably unto them. And Benjamin came again that time, and they gave them wives which they had saved of the women of Jabesh Gilead, and yet so they suffered them not. So Jabesh Gilead, I guess, was actually... there was more Benjamite women there of mixed heritage, because they weren't exactly Benjamites. I don't think all of them. You know how that goes. There was a little bit of mixing going on there, but maybe there were more Benjamite women than they thought. And the people repented them for Benjamin, because the Lord had made a breach in the tribes of Israel. So they were bummed. Everyone was bummed out. We're like, what? Benjamin's wiped out. Then the elders of the congregation said, how shall we do for our wives, for them that remain, seeing the women are destroyed out of Benjamin? So when you think of why the Jamaicans have 8 children from 5 wives, or 4 children from 3 wives, or 6 children from 3 wives, or Benjamin doesn't really have wives here. And that's why I have 3 children from 3 wives. It probably would have been a lot more, but in this wicked kingdom, I didn't trust the Lord, and I'm going to have to pay for that. Roe versus Wade. Thank you, 1973. 1973. That's part of my 73 also. I'll be back. I'm going to finish this off. Pretty talky today, but hey, it's weekend. That's how we roll. I'll be back.